Welcome to the program. I'm Tracy Bowden. There are dramatic scenes in Queensland tonight where floodwaters are rising faster than many expected and another entire community has been forcibly evacuated. Condamine on the Darling Downs is the latest to become a ghost town. Further north around Bundaberg, rescuers have winched people to safety while emergency workers are racing against the clock to set up temporary shelter in Emerald. 80% of the town is expected to be underwater by tomorrow. Rockhampton is also causing concern with fears it will be cut off by road and air. The Queensland Premier Anna Bligh has been touring the devastated regions and I'll be speaking to her shortly. But first, this report from Annie Guest.
Bundaberg is a city split in two by its biggest floods in 50 years. Up to 100 homes are under brown, muddy water, another 300 are at risk, and scores of residents have been forced to take shelter on higher ground. Some in this city of 50,000 people were caught by surprise as the Burnett River peaked at almost 8 metres. Rescuers winched this stranded couple to safety from Bundaberg's northern outskirts today. In town, restaurateurs Brett Jensen and his partner Tallis Sinclair are devastated by the damage to their business.
Sorry, mate. We built it up over the last 9 months.
The pair only bought the restaurant 9 months ago and spent thousands of dollars on renovations.
There's the bar right there, so that's where people would be leaning to have a beer, right where I stand now.
They don't qualify for flood insurance and they're still paying their staff.
It's just completely soaked right the way through, so we won't know the full extent of the damage until after the floodwaters subside, and I don't know when that's going to happen, so we just come down daily and check on it and see how it's going, and there's nothing we can do at the moment. It's just a waiting game, wait and see, and then once the waters start to go down, it'll be a fair bit to clean up.
Bundaberg is one of 8 swamped regions to receive a disaster declaration. Other places of acute concern at the moment include Emerald and Rockhampton and surrounding towns. On the western Darling Downs, the town of Condamine has been completely evacuated today. Further east, massive sheets of water continue to surround Chinchilla and Dalby. The mining and agricultural centre of Emerald is bracing for its worst floods in the town's history. 80% of the community could go underwater. The Red Cross has set up a shelter for people whose homes are already underwater. The organisation's Queensland director flew over the community today.
Well, I certainly saw a lot of water, but more importantly, I see a lot of people now queuing up, not only registering, but really getting beds and that. And there's a lot of activity in town that we didn't see 24 hours ago.
Greg Goebel says the flooding emergency is the worst the Red Cross has dealt with in Queensland, and Emerald is causing immediate concern.
We're planning for 1,000 people. It's certainly going to be a squeeze, and it's going to be cramped. But we're confident that we've got the resources to house that number of people. The issue is really going to be the unknown issue of how high the flood's going to be.
Outside of Emerald, farms and mines are also badly affected. Michael Roche heads the Resources Council.
This is unprecedented in terms of the extent of the impact on the mining industry from the northern Bowen Basin right through to the south. So you'd be hard-pressed to find a mine in the Bowen Basin that has not been negatively impacted, as well as some of the gas operations in the Surat Basin.
To the east, in Rockhampton, emergency workers are getting in before flooding, expected in the next few days, swamps not only the town but the airport. And with hundreds of roads cut off by flooding across the state, emergency authorities are becoming increasingly concerned about food supply. They've met food retailers to find a way to get groceries into isolated areas.
We're talking with them about opening up different supply chains to be able to move food to the north and then use that as a point of distribution into inland. We might have to look at some creative ways of doing that. We may have to look at moving product by sea, by plane. So there's a whole range of planning that's currently going on.
The total cost of the damage and lost productivity caused by the floods across central and southern Queensland is expected to run into several $1 billion. And as evacuations continue in many places, more residents returned home in areas like Dalby today. But Greg Goebel from the Red Cross says this is when the heartache really begins.
A number of people are returning home, and of course that's when the second wave really hits them. They get back and they see what's happened to their properties and the clean-up in front of them. And for some people, particularly the elderly, it's a really daunting prospect and requires a lot of help.
Annie Guest with that report. And if you'd like to make a donation to those affected by the floods, you can contact the Queensland Premier's Flood Relief Appeal on 1800 219 028.